to the Factor Uncensored. It will be an uphill battle for the Houston Police Department to get up to date on cases that need attention, urgent attention. The department is experiencing a major backlog in that area. More than, get this, 200,000 cases, including women who have been raped and your home that may have been burglarized. Can they even catch up to that case log, that backlog? My next guest shares his thoughts on it. Ray Hunt with the Houston Police Officers Union. And joining us now on the Factor Uncensored is Ray Hunt, Executive Director of the Houston Police Officers Union. So, Ray, when you look at this revelation from the police chief and the department, about 264,000 cases have gone uninvestigated or have been left in limbo since 2016. Your thoughts on this?
It's disturbing, no doubt about it. We didn't know anything about this code even being available to investigators until about 2 weeks ago. We found out through the media, and it's like I say, it's not,
you guys just found out about this code as well?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when the reporter called me and asked me about it, I said, "Not true. We don't have such a code." And then when I called to find out that we do have the code, that's when I found out that it actually exists. As a patrol officer all my career, we wouldn't have access to that. It would only be investigators, so I wouldn't know anything about it. But when I found out, it was just shocking and quite alarming that we had such a code, and then really alarming to find out that many reports had been put in there.
And for those who are not familiar with what this code is, for the viewer, what does this code read and what does it mean?
It's actually a code that reads SL, and it basically says suspended for lack of personnel. So when you've got multiple calls coming in multiple cases that you can't get to because you have limited number of staff, somebody has to triage those cases and determine which ones are going to be investigated and which ones are going to be put in the file that says we just don't have the manpower to do it. But clearly those calls should have been put into a code that says something to the effect of no leads. But if you have a lead, it can't be put into this bucket. It has to be investigated.
Do you think, for lack of a better term, or not being offensive with this, but do you think it became a default for someone who was lazy with the department?
I wouldn't say lazy. I would equate it more to arriving at the emergency room and having 1,000 people in the lobby, and the hospital
overwhelmed?
says, yeah, overwhelmed. And the hospital says, you know what, we're going to go on drive-by. We can't accept any more patients. Well, we can't go on drive-by at the police department. We have to take every call that comes in. But clearly they should have been triaged differently so that only the calls that have no type of lead whatsoever should be put in that bucket, not something that has a potential lead.
And I think half of these crimes involve crimes against people. Over 100,000 of them involve crimes against people. The chief, Troy Fenner, has vowed to take a second look and get these cases investigated. But I can recall you guys saying for years, more than a decade, we need more officers. So how will you deal with this if you didn't have the manpower then? How are you going to do it now?
You're going to have to bring investigators from all other divisions to start investigating these, and the current cases are going to be put on hold. I mean, that's the only way that you can do it. It's like our district attorney's office, with having so many cases backlogged, everything just gets further and further back. But we've got to get it done. If it means overtime money, he's going to have to find overtime money to bring investigators in to handle these calls.
But Ray, it sounds like you're kicking the can down the road, or at least the department is, while current cases may be put on hold to catch up with the cases from 2016. You're going to have the public angry with HPD about their current case. And they're saying the leads may be fresh. If you put it to the side, it's going to go cold.
We're between a rock and a hard place. Someone like y'all at the media, you have the luxury of picking and choosing which stories you're gonna air that day. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of doing that. We've got to take whatever comes in on a 911 call or whatever a patrol officer sends in. So you're gonna eventually get behind. But like I say, it should have never been put in one that especially if they have leads, it should have never happened.
All right, that was a pretty low blow, Ray, but we're going to let you slide because you're a friend.
Hey, I feel sorry for every person out there whose case didn't get investigated in a timely manner, especially whenever there's leads. I heard one of these cases recently that was just assigned to a different investigator. Within 8 hours, charges were filed on the person.
Got it. And for those who may still be angry out there, the public said, well, that's what happened to my case. What should the department tell these individuals out there, especially those crimes that involve offenses against people? Should they at least make a call, try to make a call and say, look, your case is active again?
I think that would probably be the minimum. I think the chief actually said that in a press conference the other day after he issued an apology, saying, "I apologize to the victims out there who did not get the service that they expect from the Houston Police Department and that we expect to deliver from the Houston Police Department."